Fayette County Sports, presented by Fayette County Public Health, serving all of Fayette County. COVID shots are still available. Call for more information. The Fayette Early Learning Center. Sign-ups continue for preschool and Head Start programs. Great Oaks Career Campuses, specializing in career and technical education for both high school students and adults. Summers Funeral Home, since 1991, providing thoughtful, caring, and respectful services to families in time of need. By M&M Turf Fasteners, now third generation in serving the equine industry locally and nationally. Jim Van Dyke Automotive Center, your family-owned and operated auto repair shop and tire center since 2001. Courthouse Manor, St. Catherine Manor, both in Washington Courthouse. From therapy stays to long-term care or assisted living. Leala Lanes and Amore Pizzeria, family-owned and operated bowling center with the best pizza in subs in town. And by Kirk's Furniture in New Holland. Small town value, big city selection, serving the area for over 100 years with furniture, appliances, and mattresses. By Epifano McDonald's, with 3 locations in Fayette County and Jamestown. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
We're going to cover the boys division. We're going to have the playing of the national anthem at this time. All right.
Good bowling. You may start your warm-ups at this time.
So the national anthem here is we're just a few minutes away from getting this one started. Again, this is the first of 2 broadcasts we're scheduled this year for bowling action. We always try to do a couple of matches each year here on our Fayette County Youth Sports coverage. Today we're going to be featuring the boys, and then we'll be back in January and feature the girls teams from both schools. Miami Trace comes into the contest with a 2-1 record in the Frontier Athletic Conference. Washington Courthouse comes in the AFC also with a 2-1 record. Both squads are, of course, right behind Hillsboro, who is currently 3-0 in the league. Miami Trace has beaten Greenfield, Chillicothe, and also lost a tough one down, I should say up here against Hillsboro back on the 9th. Meanwhile, same thing for Washington Courthouse. One down at Greenfield back right before Christmas. Then at home, beat Chillicothe and then lost by about almost 300 some pins to Hillsboro in league action. Both teams also was down Hillsboro on Saturday. Miami Trace, both the boys and the girls, captured their respective divisions at the Ironclad tournament. I believe that's a brand new tournament this year. 10 teams involved. Washington Courthouse, meanwhile, the boys came in second place in the league, losing 2-0 to the Panthers in the finals. So that kind of sets things up. The guys are now getting warmed up. Basically, pretty simple format. If I remember correctly, I believe they play the bowl 3 individual games, and then they'll have 2 Baker games. And of course, that means that they'll each get to bowl 2 frames each. And as the afternoon progresses, Ron Moore Jr. is going to be joining us, and we'll talk more about that. So stay with us here on our coverage. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about this matchup and get things started as Fayette County Youth Sports continues with high school boys bowling. Washington Courthouse, Miami Trace, here on Facebook, WCHC TV.
Gotten the COVID vaccine.
So have I.
I have too.
The sooner we're all vaccinated,
The sooner we can get back to normal.
I'm looking forward to going to live concerts,
sports events,
graduation.
going out with friends.
It's not about me.
It's not about me.
It's about protecting the people I care about.
to protect my community.
I just want to do my part.
Even though I'm young and healthy,
I know it's the right thing to do.
Take your shot.
Protect your family and your friends.
Don't hesitate. Vaccinate.
Back here at Leella Lanes, the host site for both Miami Trace and Washington Courthouse. I guess that's one of the advantages with both schools playing basically the same schedule. They can play the same league opponent at the same time, and that brings visitors in from some of the other communities to participate, as well as they'll be hosting a big Baker Bash in mid-January. We'll talk more about that in just a few moments. As we mentioned before, both teams are warming up. We're going to be in lanes 9 and 10 if you're familiar with the yellow lanes. It's to the right side of the facility. The boys will have those two lanes. The girls are going to be bowling in 13 and 14, I believe. And check out, the girls will be bowling in 11 and 12, and then they're going to do a reserve match for the boys, and I believe that's going to be in 14 and 15. So again, they'll use 9 and 10 for boys, 11 and 12, I believe, for the girls, and 14 and 15 will be the reserve. So, Ronnie's joined us. I better grab him while he's got a chance because man's on the go here. Hey, real quickly, thanks again for having us come out today. We really enjoy coming out here doing the bowling tournaments and the bowling events between these two schools. And it was hard to believe. I was reading Chris Hoppus's preview a little bit. It's been 10 years since this thing started.
Yep, but 10 years ago, we got started under the SCOL is where it started 10 years ago. And so lots have changed since then.
Yeah.
Still got a lot of great kids in there. And it seems like the bowling program every year has good kids that come out, and most of them are very good student athletes as well.
I know that your family has been involved with, I think your dad's coached all 10 years. You coached for a while, I believe. Your wife's coaching now. Your son, one of your sons is coaching. So this is really kind of a way you'd like to give back to the community a little bit. Plus, it gives you guys a real good chance also to use it for a little publicity. You know, you got guys coming in doing Facebook broadcasts. You got people from out of town, senior facility, and things like that.
Whenever you're part of the community, and this is a great community to be a part of, it always seems like the community always pays you back. So you're right. It's kind of a promotion thing, but just giving back to the community is a good thing.
As you look at this year's team, of course, we've already had a couple things that's been very, very exciting. Number one, you've had a bowler bowl 300.
Jake Manbevers, and he is a junior, so he's got another year left, and he has developed into a fine bowler. And, I wouldn't be surprised if he has another one this year, believe it or not.
Also, last year you guys had a couple bowlers that did go to the state.
Yes. As individuals, Connor Collins placed pretty high in the state, I believe. I don't remember his position, but
31st, I think it was.
Yeah, okay. It was really good out of all those bowlers in the state of Ohio. That's excellent. I really believe that Miami Trace boys and girls both have a really, really good shot at going. I mean, so does Washington, but Miami Trace just kind of stands out this year because everybody has returned. The girls have got a lot of seniors. The boys have a few seniors. But the boys' team is just stacked with talent, even down through the reserves. They're going to have a couple good years yet left in them.
I know that I talked to Anthony, your son, a little bit before the events here started. And he mentioned the fact that he's got 2 young ladies that are bowling in college.
Yeah, two out of the program is bowling in college. He's kind of rebuilding this year. But even though they seem to be weak, those ladies have improved so much on his team this year in just the short time that we've got the season underway. So that team he keeps working with, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with here in a year or two.
I want to make sure now I understand the format. Maybe you can go over it once again with a head-to-head competition here. Again, how's this work?
You'll bowl 2 individual games. I mean, each bowler on the varsity team will bowl their own games, and then it goes to Baker. 3 games of Baker after that. It's a total pinfall of the combined of all 5 games.
All right. Well, I had the names right, but I had the numbers wrong. I had it 3 and 2, but it's 2 and 3, so you're right. Okay. So I knew those numbers. I just had them confused. Baker's, maybe folks that are watching, hopefully it's a lot of bowlers, but hopefully maybe it's new people. Hey, they know some kids on the team, and maybe they're not really familiar with bowling. It's been a while, or maybe high school bowling's a lot different than maybe just coming out here on a weekend with your friends. Maybe explain some terminologies. Number 1, what's a split?
Split is 2 pins without the head pin standing far apart in the lane. So there's usually one on each side of the lane with no head pin standing. That's a split.
Gutter ball, which I do a lot of.
That's when it rolls down that black thing and goes really nice and straight for you. That's a gutter ball.
Don't help it, don't give you any score points. And then, of course, you mentioned about the Baker games. Those sometimes is where match can be won or lost.
Absolutely. That a lot of them has been won and lost in the Bakers. Bakers is where you have 10 frames in a game, and normally you have one bowler bowl 2 frames in that game. So if you're a first, you bowl the first frame and the 6th frame. Sometimes the coaches will sub people out, so you may bowl the first frame and the other bowlers bowl 2, and when it comes to the 6th frame, you have someone else in there. But it's definitely a team sport in the Bakers.
Can bowlers get tired? I mean, some of the kids have been talking a little bit, they're all a little stiff and stuff like that. I mean, I've thrown that ball after a while, or do they just have to work on getting physically ready?
This is a sport. It is physically demanding. I know a lot of people may not think so, but these young men and women are going to some of the Baker tournaments, and just for instance, the one we're hosting, they're going to bowl 16 games, and then we're going to cut to the top 4 and they'll have match play. So there is a lot of bowling. On the kickoff tournament, they bowled, I believe, 3 regulars, 8, and then they cut to match play. And these folks started bowling at like probably 9:30, 10 in the morning, and I was able to finish my shift here, go up and watch the finals. So they got down up there about 8:30 at night. So they bowled the whole day.
Wow.
Very physically demanding.
So again, these kids got to be ready to go. And you know, the thing is, a lot of these kids have grown up through your youth programs and so forth. But we've seen a lot of brand new kids that have never done bowling before, that really, with the chance to participate in it, have slowly begun to improve their skills.
Absolutely. And again, we go back to the Washington girls team. Anthony's got a whole bunch of new girls that have none of his girls have been in our youth program. And actually, he's got one that started this year. But with coaching and teaching the right way, they make great improvements. They really do. And like again, that team has improved a lot, and they got a long way to go yet. So yes, a lot of new people.
Finally, before we let you get a chance to maybe slip away or check on things here, Hillsboro seems to be year in, year out, has dominated this league so well. I know that your dad's team has had some chances to kind of push them a little bit, Courthouse as well. Let me ask you, what is it about Hillsboro seems like they're consistently dominating this league year in, year out?
They got a good coach. I don't know. They always just seem to produce good bowlers down there. They got a good youth program, just like we do here. We just caught the wrong end of it here lately. But Not saying that we can't still at least tie for the league championship, because we blow them again down there. And one year they beat us here and we beat them down there. So still, it's just good competition.
All right. Well, we'll find out how that goes as we continue to follow the teams through the season. Teams are now having their final conferences with their coaches. We'll take another. 1, 2, 3, train! Well, that kind of scared me there a little bit. Wasn't ready for that. And the cheer there. We'll take a quick 30-second break. When we come back, we'll start to watch do some bowling here on Fayette County Youth Sports, Facebook, WCHC TV.
County Early Learning Center is now enrolling for all 3 programs. Our Head Start program, which is a preschool program for 3 to 5-year-olds. Our Early Head Start home-based program, which is our home-based program that serves pregnant moms and children birth to 3. And then our Early Head Start Child Care Partnership at Rockabye Early Learning Center, which is a center-based program for working parents or parents that are going to school for children birth to 3. For more information, contact the Fayette County Early Learning Center at 740-335-7138.
Well, we're back, and Drew Ferguson started things off for Washington Courthouse with a strike in lane number 10. Noah McMurray is up now. He has a strike. I assume the match is starting, right? Yes. Okay, so they go. Now we've got Jaden Brown. Left a couple pins. Now this is Pinwell. It's not the name he gave me. I thought he said it was Nick Walker. Nick Walker. Yeah, Nick Walker, okay. He's okay. He just got a different shirt on, that's it. Now we got Jaden Brown for Miami Trace. And another strike by Washington Courthouse. Caleb Ray. Jonah Doddard now for Miami Trace. Whoa. Looks like that was heading to the gutter and came back around. Coming up now is Mason Mullins. Mullins down the middle, hits the head pin, but left one standing. Now Miami Trace, it's up. It's Brennan Majors. Mullins now will try to pick up the frame, the pin left. And he got it. Majors now will try to do the same thing. I just kind of like watching the scoreboard with all the illustrations. Some of them are pretty cute, to be honest with you. Okay, this is the young man that hit the 300. Man Bevers, is that right? Jake? Left one for the spare. And he'll wrap up the first frame. Some of these guys got some unique releases, to say the least. Kind of saw some sidearm delivery here. According to that, first frame, it's 50 to 37. Am I reading that right, Ronnie? Yes. All right. We're going to catch on here. Time I'm done here, I'm going to be an expert. So now, Miami Trace gets to go first in the second frame. I assume they rotate. Is that right?
Yes, they'll switch lanes now, and they'll bowl another frame on the opposite lane.
So Collins, Carson Collins, I believe it is. And so that now makes it 50-47 in favor of Washington Courthouse. All right, so now Ferguson will go from lane 10 to 9 to start off the second frame. Brown, meanwhile, is over on the 10th, and whoa, comes up the big strike there to open up frame number 2 for Miami Trace. Ferguson now for the Blue Lions here on the number 9. Brings it in. Picks up the spare. Meanwhile, Goddard from Miami Trace is going to leave 3 pins up. Meanwhile, you have McMurray for the Blue Lions. I believe he's leaving 2 pins up. So McMurray for the Blue Lions. Majors is up now. Brennan Majors. He gets a strike. Nick Walker now is up. Comes up with a good one. I mean, we're seeing a lot of strikes here early. Usually we see a lot of numbers of strikes by these bowlers.
There's some good talent here, and yeah, they throw a lot of strikes. They really do. Spares are extremely important, but these guys strike a lot. They are pretty good.
Well, looks like the Blue Lions will pick up yet another one. Being Caleb Ray. Meanwhile, from Miami Trace, Collins. And whoa, that one looked like it was going to slip away from him. And boy, it kind of come back and hit the head pin and got the strike out of it. Mason Mullins now. This one right down the middle. Got the strike. I don't know how much David's picking up these guys after they bowl a ball or something, but they're putting on a little show here. So now we'll get ready to start frame number 3. And it looks like it's 170-121 Courthouse. I'm reading the board right. You'll have to check me here once, Ronnie, make sure I'm reading it right there. Again, you're watching bowling action, Miami Trace, Washington Courthouse here at Leella Lanes. Along with Ron Moore Jr., Randy Young with you. Got David Woolever on the camera and engineering. Again, this happened on Wednesday. We, some reason, have technical problems. We try to do it live, so we thought let's just tape it, play it back in its entirety, and that way everybody we won't have to worry about missing anything. Hi, Greg, how are you? Greg Phipps, the athletic director at Washington Courthouse, has joined us. Greg, real quickly, bowling was a sport that's been added about 10 years or so ago. I know that you've been associated with the athletic program at Courthouse and stuff like that. This is just another thing that the athletic department can offer kids.
Oh, it's a great opportunity. Of course, we got the girls team and the boys team, and this year on the boys team, we've got a JV team, and they are able to participate. You know, it's an individual sport, but then again, they work together as a team, and a lot of these kids that don't go out and play basketball or football or something, they can come here, and you can see the team cohesion that they have, so it's just been great.
And the fact that you've got people that are coaching these young people that's got the experience and the know-how and the love of bowling, they're kind of serving as mentors a little bit, and that's what you want as coaches. I mean, I know you've coached and stuff like that. That's what you kind of want to do with your team.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Both of our coaches for Courthouse were so proud to have both of them because they're both great bowlers. I know Bucky, our boys coach, he's out here 3 or 4 nights a week playing himself, you know, but he loves it. And then, of course, Coach Amore, he's just out here all the time. But not only do they teach the game, but they're teaching the game alive.
Well, I know that Leella Lanes, they kind of stepped up, to be honest with you. It's hard for a lot of high schools to offer bowling. They probably would love to. They don't have a facility. I know at Wilmington, I think, or down in Highland County, you got 3 or 4 schools. They all have to travel far to have a facility to be able to bowl.
We are very, very blessed to have Leella right here in town that we can come. And, of course, they had we did a summer deal with them to let the kids come out and bowl some to get ready for the season. So it's just been great. And, you know, 2 mile away, they can come in and bowl. So it's been very nice.
It's kind of nice for me because I think I come 50 yards from work. You know, 2 buildings down, I got it made, man.
Right.
Okay, thanks a lot, Greg. Appreciate it, buddy. Greg Phipps, the athletic director of Washington Courthouse, joined us here, kind of showing his support for the young people as they're bowling right now. 243 to 168 is your score. And Bever, young man with a 300 game. Yeah, what was his first game he bowled? I thought it was pretty high. Was what, 263 or something like that?
Yes, for the 300, I think 268 or 269, I believe.
Okay.
It was a really good game, yes. I think he's got the Miami Trace record now with a 2-game set. Andrew had it before that, and I forget what Andrew's was, but I know he beat Andrew.
Okay. And I understand he was not the first young man to do that. Caleb Taylor, I believe, bowled a 300, and I think Caleb Taylor bowled a 300 too.
District tournament. Yeah, Caleb had a 300 in the district tournament in Chillicothe. He was the first one from Miami Trace.
That's even more pressure. It's enough to do it at home, but do it in a tournament. That's something else. So action is continuing. Again, Drew Ferguson starting things off here. I believe we're now in frame number 4. Am I about right? If I'm reading that right? Yep, frame 4. Got Brown now bowling for Miami Trace. It's going to leave a couple pins up. We'll go one more bowler apiece, then we'll take a quick break after that, and then we'll come back and pick up some more action. This is one of the things where you don't get a halftime break. So between the frames you get to. So we'll go ahead and so this will be Noah McMurray bowling for the Blue Lions. So there's his ball. Whoa, and that went into the gutter. That'd probably be a good time for us to take a quick break. We'll do that. We'll take a break back in 30 seconds here on Fayette County Youth Sports, WCHC TV, Facebook.
We made a lot of breakfasts, and along the way, we noticed something was missing. A warm cinnamon roll for breakfast, or with breakfast. A fluffy blueberry muffin from the drive-thru you're already driving through. A glazed apple fritter which might find its way into your coffee. These are options every breakfast haver should have, and now they do. Meet the new bakery sweets at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
College in your future? Start at Great Oaks. Earn college credit while earning professional credentials. Dream bigger. Great Oaks.
Well, while we was away, Gothard from Miami Trey's got a strike. Majors has left one pin up, and on lane number 10, he's trying to pick up the spare here, and does. Want to keep an eye on the individual scores throughout the day, as, of course, Epifana Mcdonald sponsors a star of the game for all of our broadcasts, and we'll recognize a bowler from Miami Trace and a bowler from Washington Courthouse at the end of the broadcast, so keep that in mind. Currently, we are in the 5th frame. Courthouse is ahead 329 to 285, so obviously a very, very close match here. A lot of strikes being thrown. Courthouse, I believe that bowler number 4 I believe that is Caleb Ray. Looks like he's got a 66 early lead. Mullins comes through, picks up a big strike. Connor Collins with a big hit, big roll, a turkey. What's a turkey?
What's that?
What's a turkey?
Turkey's 3 in a row. 3 strikes in a row.
Okay. Well, Ferguson now will start frame 5 with a strike. Maybe for those we've been mentioning a little bit about Jake's 300. How many strikes does he have to have in a row on that one?
Actually, 12 strikes.
12?
Yep. Because the 10th frame, you have 2 bonus balls. You got to strike both of those.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure he was probably well aware of what was going on.
He is throwing very good balls. So a lot of times people start getting nervous towards the end, and the balls maybe are weaker. He was solid all the way through the game.
Good.
Very well. Very much so.
Well, I'm looking at the scores. I don't know if we'll have a 300 while we're on the air, but hey, we might have some 200-plus scores, which would be very, very good for any bowler, especially in the high school when you're in the team competition like this, trying to help get your team as many points as you can. Courthouse pretty much has led through most of the match so far. But again, don't forget, you got 2 individual games and then 3 Baker games, and a lot of time the Baker games is where things are can turn around for your squad. McMurray for Courthouse, bowling lane number 10, comes up the strike. Jacob Doddard from Miami Trace in lane 9. And that looks good. Kids getting into it. We've done enough broadcasts. I think this is our 5th or 6th one we've done over the years. I will tell you one thing. Right now the girls are very, very quiet. That will change, especially when we get to the Baker games. The guys, they're just loud the entire day. Walker. Bucky Colley, the coach for Washington Courthouse. Ron Amore Sr. for Miami Trace. How much coaching can be actually done during a match, Ronnie?
A lot, because you've got ball changes, you've got the lanes will break down, the oil and lane changes as you bowl, so you need to get your bowlers lined up back into the pocket. And sometimes it goes quickly, sometimes it goes slow as far as the lane transition goes. So there's a lot of coaching that goes on, and also keeping them mentally focused, and that's tough with younger folks.
I know some sports you're not like golf and stuff, you can only talk to them between the holes. I don't think you can talk to them while they're out on here as far as the course and stuff. And of course volleyball, you call the timeouts and all that stuff. There you don't have timeouts. Maybe have a little break between the frames, but other than that, it looks like you can still talk to them briefly. You can't say, okay, everybody gather around and stuff. You can't do that during the bowling matches going on. But you can say a little bit, or hey, watch your feet, or ball's breaking a little bit more to the right, compensate for that, things like that. Right now, Courthouse is on a roll here. Again, both teams are 2-1 in the FAC early in the season. They're both lost to Hillsboro, so they're behind the Indians in the standings. Of course, those two teams will have a rematch later on this season. So they play everybody twice. So you play 8, and then you have the FAC, which I believe is at Greenfield this year, if I remember correctly. At least that's the date I saw, February the 3rd. I believe it is. So I was really surprised. I mean, you guys started before Thanksgiving, and except for maybe 1 or 2 schools having maybe a non-conference event after the FAC, most schools are done at the end of January, and you have to kind of wait around for 2 or 3 weeks where you have the sectionals.
It's always good to keep the kids bowling, though. So I think it's not a bad idea, because you got to have something, because like you say, when the sectionals start and you have that long break, that's not always good, my opinion. Keep them in competition, keep them bowling. So I think that's a good thing.
I know that also sometimes we still don't know what the weather's going to be like, or the coronavirus and all that stuff, so possibly there might be that little extra week or 2 was built into the schedule on purpose, just in case you would have to cancel some matches for later in the season. You do have that flexibility that you can work on, so that'll be something we'll kind of keep an eye on. I'm like everybody else, I'd like to have a normal season, whatever that is. Speaking of that, while folks are watching it, I don't necessarily have to sit here and describe everything. You folks can watch the bowling, you kind of know what's going on. But one of the things is, with the coronavirus and stuff like that, last year, of course, you know, wasn't a lot of sports going on. There was restrictions. It's loosened up a little bit this year so far. But what are some of the things that, as far as bowling's concerned, that the kids have to kind of go through, and the coaches and even people that are hosting the meets?
As of this year, there are no restrictions.
Really?
As of this year. Now, last year we had to wear masks all the time. We had to spread people apart, take some of our tables out, limited spectators last year. So I think each bowler had 1 person, I believe. But this year, as of right now, it's just back open, and we still bleach everything down, sanitize everything down, not just for the high school matches, for everything. So we're still doing all of that. But as far as the high school restrictions, we do not have any this year.
Really? Okay. Well, I guess that's a positive. Right now, we'll take all the positive news we can get.
And like you said, anything that's normal is good anymore. And I'm tired of not being normal.
That's true. Well, the bowling will continue. We'll take another break. When we come back, we'll update you on how things are going and pick up some more of the action as Miami Trace and Washington Courthouse boys are going at it in a big early season FAC encounter here on Fayette County Youth Sports on Facebook, WCHC TV.
To believe, but colder weather has arrived. Jim Van Dyke's Automotive Center says don't wait any longer to get your vehicle ready for winter driving. Call for an appointment at 740-335-2000 to get your winter weather maintenance work done now, and don't wait until it's too late. Jim, Marlene, and Ray Van Dyke take this time to thank you for trusting them with your vehicle service needs, and their staff will continue to provide professional and courtesy service. Since 2001, Jim Van Dyke is a name that people have come to trust. Again, call 740-335-2000 for an appointment, or go online at jimvandyke.com. Jim Van Dyke's Automotive Center, 2247 US 22 Southwest, Washington Courthouse.
Back here at Leella Lanes, and things have tightened up here in the last couple frames if you've been watching, as McMurray gets a big hit there and a strike for the Blue Lions. 495 to 477. Miami Trace slowly getting back into this. They were down by about 40 or 50 pins early and now have cut that lead. Another strike by the Blue Lions.
Nick Walker.
So Walker with the strike now puts him over the 500 mark. Again, Trace with a 487. Ben Bevers with the 10th lane and comes up big with another strike. Got a lefty here. Mr. Ray picking up a strike. Still staying within about 20 pins, 535 to 517. Again, we're still in the latter part of the fifth frame. Again, you got 5 bowlers, individual match. Collins left 1 pin up. Mullins, meanwhile, right to our immediate right where we're located broadcasting from. There's the ball. Just missed. Meanwhile, Trace picks up the split. Looks like the girls is pretty close. We'll try to get a check on that score here in a little bit. See how they're doing. Right now it's 562 for Trace, 546 for Washington Courthouse. Ferguson, I believe this will be starting his 6th frame. Looks like he left a pin in the back. Meanwhile, Mullins will try to finish up his 5th frame. Again, they rotate between the lanes. They'll bowl lane 9 for a frame, and then they'll move to 10, back and forth. So now that will be into the 5th frame. Again, unofficially, it's 573 to 546, Washington Courthouse. Did I read that right, Ronnie? All right. Ronnie, you're going to teach me this thing yet, buddy?
He was reversed last time, I think, but you got it right that time, so that's all that matters.
All right. So Jaden Brown starting things off for Miami Trace. Got a couple scores over the 100 mark. In fact, Courthouse has got, looks like 2 of them. Looks like Walker and Mullins, 3 and 5 bowlers. Looks like a 129 for Carson Mullins for Miami Trace. Goddard with a throw for Miami Trace in the 6th frame. Meanwhile, we got Nick Walker. They didn't have a shirt to fit him or what? I mean, why is he wearing Pinwell's shirt?
The shirts have not come in yet. We got to wait till we find out the bowlers that's going to be here because they have their names on them. And the new bowlers, neither team, the shirts have come in yet. Because you never know till right before Thanksgiving. And then Thanksgiving, they shut everything down. And so it's always an issue getting shirts here early in the season.
Okay. As long as the coaches know who they are. And if the parents, and they're watching this Thursday or whenever they're going to watch it, at least they know who it is. I guess that's the main thing. We'll try to keep it straight. Courthouse is opening up just a little bit now. They're up 607 to 576.
And Jake is on a string of strikes, which doesn't totally count in there yet. So if he gets spares, it'll give you a little more of an update.
Right, because like I say, the scoring is a little behind what it actually is. So we just want to kind of give you an idea of kind of what it looks like a little bit. Yep. Don't have to tell you what that was. That was a Randy Young ball. That was instead of a gutter ball, it was a Randy Young ball. Jake with the roll. Again. It's another strike for him. It looks like unofficially Trace has kind of regained the lead. Probably temporarily, but still they got the lead by 15 frames. Mullins there with the strike. Ferguson will come over to the 9th lane, which means we'll start I believe, frame number 7 for him. After Mullins wraps it up, whoa, with a strike. Good hit there. We're gonna have to set one of the cameras on the scoreboards so folks at home can see what some of the what they look like at some time, or tape it or something and play it back.
Back there may catch the scoreboard. Huh? The camera behind him may catch the scoreboard.
Okay. Dave's shaking his head. Okay, good. I don't get in the technical aspect. I just, I thought, oh, it'd be nice. Just let the man take care of it. He knows what he's doing.
He's a half a step ahead of you.
Right now, Trace and Courthouse are kind of going back and forth here a little bit. Ferguson now, I believe, will start frame number 7 unofficially. I said unofficially because I'm trying to read the scoreboard and understand it myself, folks. They told me if I was going to do this job long term, I was going to have to be a master of all sports. I have learned probably more since working at the TV station in sports broadcasting of different sports than I ever. I mean, I've done a couple swim meets. Volleyball we did very rarely. Now we're doing 6 to 8 volleyball matches a year. So, and bowling, that's we try at least do 2, if not more, a year. McMurray again. For Washington Courthouse. Picking up a good one. Nick Walker for Washington Courthouse, lane number 9. And it looks like he's going to have to come back and try to get the rest of those pins. Brennan Major on lane 10 to your right, and he picks up the spare. Real excitement there picking up that last pin. I told you the guys, they're nonstop, go, go, go ever since the match starts. I can't hardly hear a peep from the girls from over here.
Usually they've got more volume to them than they have this evening. I don't know what's going on over there. Just are all quiet. But Baker's, they'll be really loud.
Yeah. Well, the guys kind of go at a little bit quicker speed than the girls. But what we're going to do again tonight, we're just going to concentrate on the boys, and then we come back in January, then we'll do the girls, and that way we'll give all the teams equal share here. Right now, Trace is slowly starting to pull away, Ronnie. I got him up about 40 pins unofficially. So, as you mentioned before, the strikes are starting to add up again for the Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, at some point all those strikes will catch up and make a difference. And they've got, Jake's on 6 in a row, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 in a row. And now Connor is on 2 in a row. So, and we got the leadoff guy, Jaden Brown's on 3 in a row, Turkey. So there's a lot of strikes for the Panthers up there.
775, 704. Trace with the lead unofficially. Ferguson now, I believe this will be the 8th frame. I think this is the 8th frame. I'm trying to figure out which frame they're in here.
Start of the 9th frame.
Starting the 9th frame, okay.
Actually, Courthouse has got 1 bowler left in the 8th, but everybody else is starting the 9th frame.
Go a little bit faster than we originally thought. That's good. And it's a good match. Hope you folks are enjoying watching it. Mullins, meanwhile, for the Blue Lions and lane 9. Courthouse picks up a spare, down by about 30 pins unofficially. So Trace now will switch over. Number 9. Jaden Brown will start things off for the Panthers. Gets a big strike there. Meanwhile, McMurray for Courthouse, and 9-10 comes up with a big hit, knocks him down. Goddard for Miami Trace. Walker for Courthouse. This guy's just kind of breezing along here a little bit. Walker's going to have to go back and try to pick up a spare.
I'm not getting stuck this way. Never again.
Walker, whoa, boy, he missed that one altogether. That one tailed off on him a little bit there, Ronnie.
Yeah, it did. The ball hooked just a little more than it should have on the spare.
I think we got a little bet going on. Nobody's like, I'm getting a strike. I'm no splits, no spares for me, buddy. Yeah, I'm not going to be the ones doing it. So Collins now. I believe this will wrap up frame 9 for Trace. All right. So he quickly goes and gets the second ball and gets ready to go. Ray for Courthouse. So Courthouse unofficially as a team is up around 899. Courthouse 791, about 100 pin lead. As again, about halfway through is when Miami Trace started getting a lot of strikes. It slowly just started to come from behind and take the lead and go ahead of Courthouse. That gets him over the 900 mark. Another strike. Mullins, meanwhile, will try to wrap things up for Courthouse in frame number 9. There's the roll. Hits the head, and that will be a strike. So this will be the final frame for game number 1. Ferguson will start things off. Now we're starting to hear the girls get into it a little bit. Meanwhile, Jaden Brown from Miami Trace will lead things off. 10th frame for the Panthers. Whoa, good hit there. It's the head pin. Ferguson will try to finish his 10th frame off. All right, now we're seeing him. This is third ball in the 10th frame. What's up?
He has got this strike in the first frame, and then he's got 7 and miss. So every time you, if you mark in the frame, you get a bonus ball. If you throw a first strike and you get a second strike, you actually get a third ball with an opportunity to strike.
Okay. Brown, he's hot. Second straight strike for him. Kind of like basketball, you're getting a bonus shot. Kind of like that, right?
Exactly, yes. And actually, Jaden's on 6 in a row. So he's got a good game.
McMurray, boy, that ball took a real curve. I'll have to go back and watch that one on the screen. My goodness, started away and took a dive. Brown, again. And, oh, he got it. Nice one. Got the one back pin finally to fall for him. So McMurray now will get ready. Trace continues to move on. Jonah Goddard with a strike. Here comes Nick Walker for the Blue Lions on lane number 10. Goddard will get yet another ball here in frame number 10. Ooh, left one up. Walker, Blue Lions. Trace unofficially now is open up about a 120 pin lead with just a couple bowlers left. Again, the guys will go back and they'll bowl another individual 10 frame game. Then we'll have 3 games of Bakers, and that's added to the team score. So we still got quite an amount of bowling left. Bakers will move very, very quickly. So right now it's looking like Mullins of Trace has got a 205. Brown's got a 234, it looks like. So we want to make sure we get the individual scores for the racing. Majors comes back. Gonna leave 1 pin up. Ray for the Blue Lions. Nice little spin. Left to right. Picks it up. On the strike. Majors will finish off with a spare. Mullins now for Blue Lions. So it looks like Miami Trace will finish 1,030, or where's the courthouse?
That's Trace. It'll be a lot more than that if they get them.
Yeah, Trace is won the first one. Courthouse will. We're not done yet, I guess. Major's still. I'm sorry, I thought they were done. Awful long delay there. 2 more bowlers to go. So they can add on to that 1,030 number. We will take a break after the bowlers are done for the 10th frame. We definitely want to get the individual scores because we do a player of the game from each team that we're going to be announcing at the end of the evening. So we want to make sure we get their numbers. And then we'll announce that during our post-game program. Mullins took a little off that one, just a tad bit. Jake. Oh, yeah. Kind of knew he was going to do that, didn't you?
He gets 2 more, he's got a 290.
Wow. Again, he is on lane number 10, so let's keep an eye out on that one, okay? Here's the ball. Ooh. He left one pin up.
Yep, it took care of the 290, but it's still going to be a very respectable game. He finishes out here. About 279 probably.
So he'll try to pick up the spare here. Got it. So Mullins will be the last bowler for Miami Trace. So it looks like
Connor Collins for Trace. Connor Collins for Trace. Collins is on Washington.
So Collins. So he picks up a spare. Collins tried to add on to his total. Collins. And, oh, hits it to the left and leaves several pins standing up. See what he finishes up with. 221. So he'll finish with a 221.
Jaden Brown also had a 234. Jaden Brown also had a 234 for the leadoff guy for Trace.
234 for Brown. Jake had 279. Meanwhile, over here, it looks like it's going to be Mullins for Courthouse.
Yeah, Mullins with a 244.
Okay, for Courthouse.
I will check on the ladies' scores and try to get them back to you here.
Okay. So it looks like it's 11:05 Miami Trace, and excuse me, Washington. Yeah, Miami Trace. 11:05 Washington Courthouse. 9:41 in the first individual match. So we'll take a quick break. Come back. We'll have the second individual match coming up as you're watching bowling here on Facebook, WCHC TV.
When the Summers Funeral Home opened to serve this area in 1991, one of their top promises was to each family that they serve to provide thoughtful, caring, and respectful service to those in pain from the loss of a loved one. Terry Summers, his family, and staff continue that promise 30 years later to put your family needs first with the utmost professional care that they can provide. In your time of need, remember the Summers Funeral Home, 223 West Market Street, or call 740-335-6078.
This boo-boo tells a story. It's a tale of perseverance, ingenuity, and love. This boo-boo is hundreds of years of science and technology. It's protection in the battle against disease and illness. And while we continue to fight COVID-19, childhood vaccinations are more important than ever. This boo-boo, it's love in its purest form.
All right, we're back here as the second individual game between Courthouse and Trace bowlers are already underway in the first frame. Again, Miami Trace winning the first set 11:05 to 9:41. Jake Minbever with a 279. Jaden Brown 234. Courthouse was led by Mullins with a 244. So those are your top scores. So right now we are in the first frame. Courthouse is in lane number 9. Trace is in lane number 10. apologize. I think I'd been calling Carson. I believe I've been calling him Mullins. It's Collins. I wrote Mullins down for some reason. I apologize for that, so make sure we get the right name here. Meanwhile, Walker for Courthouse. Major is now in lane 10. Natus comes up the big strike. See, does his best hawk imitation. Ronnie's going around trying to see if we can get the girls' scores for us. Again, we'll be back. We're scheduled to be back in mid to late January. These two teams play again, and that telecast will feature the girls. Van Bevers with another strike. Finished with 279 in that first set. They also have enough bowlers here is that also is a reserve event going on. So that's pretty good. When the number is that high, you can have a reserve team too. The last I saw, I believe Hillsborough was 4-1. They have a reserve team. So we're seeing some outstanding talent here in this area for bowling between both the boys and the girls schools here in Fayette County. Trace leads so far early in this second individual event, 50-36. Again, this was played on Wednesday. Again, we're recording this and playing it back on demand for you. Our thanks to all of our sponsors. We will do a McDonald's post-game show where we'll name a star of the game from each of the boys' teams, and that'll be coming up at the end of the broadcast. Ferguson, as they start now frame number 2 of the individual games. Left a couple pins up on the back right side. Meanwhile, Mullins from Washington Courthouse will wrap up the Blue Lions' turn. And Jaden Brown will start things off for Miami Trace. Ferguson with his ball on the 10th lane. Brown on number 9. Coming right at you. McMurray, right down the middle. Well, that's kind of an unusual throw. Caught the 1 or 2 frames of pins, on the right side in the back. And they left all the ones here in the front. They're still standing. Brown will come back. Pick up the spare. McMurray will try to do the same for Courthouse. He left 2 of the pins standing. If you're listening or watching this, day or 2 after the bowling match, don't forget we do have basketball action coming up on Saturday the 18th out at Miami Trace. Doubleheader action. Courthouse and the Panther boys and girls teams. The boys go first at around 6. The girls go second around 7:30. And of course, Dave, Myra, and I will be out at Miami Trace. We'll take the air at approximately 10 till 6 that night with play-by-play action. The next week we got a boys game on Tuesday and a girls game on Wednesday. And then we'll take a break for the holidays. And then we'll be back with more action in January and early February. We're in the middle of frame number 2. Majors having getting into it a little bit. Oh, mercy. 108-82, Miami Trace with the lead. In case you're tuning in late, this is Boys Bowling. Washington Courthouse and Miami Trace. Again, this event happened on a Wednesday. Again, to avoid technical issues, we decided just to tape it, play it back on demand. So whether you're watching this at 5 o'clock on Thursday or 1 a.m. on Sunday, trying to bring you coverage of the boys division, this one. And then in January, we'll be back with the girls. The way we'll give everybody equal exposure on Facebook. Collins for Miami Trace. Chase. And after 2 frames completed, Trace has 148. And with Mullins still to go for Courthouse, they have 82. Ferguson will start frame number 3 now here on lane number 3. Courthouse with the strike will now go to 122. So 2 frames in, 148, 122, Trace leads. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with more bowling action right here on Facebook, WCHC TV.
County Early Learning Center is now enrolling for all 3 programs. Our Head Start program, which is a preschool program for 3 to 5-year-olds. Our Early Head Start home-based program, which is our home-based program that serves pregnant moms and children birth to 3. And then our Early Head Start Child Care Partnership at Rockabye Early Learning Center, which is a center-based program for working parents or parents that are going to school for children birth to 3. For more information, contact Fayette County Early Learning Center at 740-335-7138.
M&M Turf Supply Company has been serving the equine industry since 1966. We carry a complete line of 100% natural horse tail hair and mane hair. Bulk horsehair is sold in half-pound and 1-pound bundles and is available in blunt cut or natural tapered. The hair can be used to make horsehair extensions, pottery, sculpture, braiding, and jewelry. We are located in Central Ohio, and we can ship to most states in 2 to 3 business days. Please call us at 740-335-1641 or visit us at mmhorsehair.com.
Leella Lanes is the site of the boys division of Washington Courthouse and Miami Trace. FAC action, both teams currently 1 full game behind Hillsboro in the standings. Right now, Miami Trace won the first frame, 1,030 to 941. They'll add the total team score for this individual games. Then they will play 3 Baker games, and then when you total them all up, that will decide who the winner is. So we still got a ways to go. Majors for Miami Trace is over on lane 10. And we have Caleb Ray for Washington Courthouse. Lefty here in lane number 9. Moore Jr. will be joining us on and off throughout the afternoon to get us up to date, and he's got some girls' scores.
Yes, on the ladies' side, Miami Trace had a 746. Their high individual bowler was Emily Gillespie with a 168. And on the Washington side, 649. Their high bowler was Grace Bailey with a 177.
Okay, so again, who's the individuals again?
Emily Gillespie for Trace with a 168.
Okay.
And for Washington, Grace Bailey, 177. So, Grace, yes, Grace Bailey.
Okay.
So right now, Miami Trace leads.
Okay. So we'll try to get you some more updates for you throughout the day. Mullins here for Courthouse. Will be ending frame number 3, I believe it is. Just times the way Jake throws that ball and stuff, and he looks like he's just almost showing off, you know? Like, I think I got this game down already.
Jake has bowled in our junior league program for I don't know how many years. He wasn't very old, and so he does have a lot of confidence. And, you know, when you become good at something, you almost need a little bit of, I don't know if arrogance is the right word, but you got to have that confidence.
Yeah.
I think it borderlines arrogance, but he is a very good young man, very polite. So maybe arrogance isn't the right word, but yes, he has a lot of confidence.
Well, and that happens. If you're good enough, you get on the field, it's like, I control this thing. And let's be honest with you, he had a 300, he almost had a 290 earlier in the first game. So he has shown that he knows what he's doing.
Yep, he is here to play and take notice.
Yeah. We're not criticizing him. I mean, no way are we criticizing him. I mean, it's just, like you say, you can just tell by watching somebody, their body motion stuff, that he's got the confidence in his game.
Absolutely. And you look at some of the professional athletes, like a lot of the good athletes, you can just see when they're on the field, they just have the arrogance, the way they carry themselves with so much confidence that Miles Garrett, for instance, he knows he's there to play. And Jake kind of has that same attitude, I believe.
Well, we'll watch him throughout the afternoon and see how he does as well as his teammates. He'll be the first to tell you that he needs it's a team effort. It's not just him. He'll tell you, we're winning as a team.
Absolutely, and it is definitely a team sport, and the team aspect is so important, especially the mental side of it. You got to be pulling for the rest of your team to make sure they're performing just as well, because one person can't do it.
Well, I know that first frame, as we mentioned, we had 3 bowlers over 200, so that goes to show you how much of a team effort it is. You had Brown at 234 and Collins at 224, so again, total team effort by Ron Moore Senior's group here. And, they got a lot of expectations. They really think that they got maybe an outside chance with this group. It's a good mixture of underclassmen seniors. They might have a good shot down the road, maybe doing well in the tournaments.
I believe so. I believe they should qualify. But, saying that and doing it is 2 different things. You still have to perform.
We'll follow them throughout the season, how they do. Washington Courthouse, meanwhile, continues to improve as, again, one of the things is that you want to try to beat the team 3 miles down the road. Then you got another school about 20 miles down the road. But, again, sometimes that inter-league tough competition can pay off for you down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And this, this is one of the toughest leagues, or it has been historically in the state. And I am not kidding. We have a lot of good talent. Chillicothe's having an off year this year, but with Miami Trace, Washington Courthouse, Hillsborough, and Chillicothe, Jackson is finally coming on. They're getting their program started, and they've made much improvements. They will be a force to be reckoned with soon. So we have a very tough league.
Well, we'll keep following the FAC bowling throughout the season here on WCHC. Meanwhile, looking back up at the score, as we are getting toward the end of the 4th frame, it's Miami Trace right now up around 100 pins, 346 to 251. They're in the lead. And again, seen strike after strike after strike, and that's really kind of the key of the game. Again, Courthouse in that first frame was ahead by 40 or 50 pins, and then all of a sudden Trace started getting, a bunch of strikes and slowly came back and picked up the victory in frame number 1. Collins, meanwhile, in lane number 9, picks up another strike. Ferguson now will get ready to start. This is frame number 5 already. My goodness. It's amazing how fast it goes when you get talking to someone and not paying attention.
It can be a very fast-paced game, especially with lots of strikes. You just keep right on moving.
Right now, the Blue Lions, True Ferguson, getting things kicked off here in frame number 5. Trying to pick up the spare. You look ahead at the schedule for these two teams. The 18th, they're at the Pioneer Bash, which is up in Columbus. Then the 23rd, no break for the holidays, it looks like. You guys are going to play host at Jackson. Then the 29th, you play up at Bell Fountain at a Holiday Baker. Look, you know anything about that?
When I was coaching, we bowled it 1 year. The Bell Fountain tournament tends to be a lot of the best teams of the state. You have several teams from the G-Walk that comes up to that. Historically, it's been a very strong tournament. So it'll be interesting to see how we place this year.
Well, sometimes you like to play those tough tournaments during the season. If nothing, again, you don't want to start talking the T word yet, the tournament time, but playoffs, as our friend down in New Orleans used to say, playoffs. But, you as a coach, and when you look at your program overall, if you see your talent, you know your program, you have to think about, okay, we got some decent talent. Is there a chance? Could we possibly advance? Stuff like that. Maybe we need to have a little tougher non-league conference scheduled just to get the kids prepared.
Yeah, you always want a measuring stick to see where your program is because, you don't want to talk about tournaments and that, but it's in your mind. You want to win the state. That's the ultimate goal of every team, I believe. So it's good to have that measuring stick to see where you're stacking up. And you know who the good teams are, but it's good to get on the lanes with them and really match up to them.
Well, we'll see how things progress. And then, of course, on the 30th, Greenfield is scheduled to come up here for an early Thursday matchup. As we mentioned, we're tentatively scheduled to be back in mid to late January when these two teams play each other again, but we'll feature the girls here on lanes 9 and 10. And then we'll go from there and see what happens. Meanwhile, courthouse right next to us as we're broadcasting. Caleb Ray. Excuse me, I was Walker, Nick Walker. Now we got Ray coming up. Meanwhile, for Miami Trace, we have Brennan Major. Again, we're in frame number 5. Major trying to pick up the spare and does so. So still about 100 pin lead by Miami Trace. It's like about 426 to 303 unofficially. Again, the scoring is going to be a little behind what we're giving you because of the spares and all that stuff. So, but again, just kind of want to mention scores there once in a while, just kind of keep you up to date what's going on and stuff like that. And Bevers with another strike. I'm trying to see how many he's got here. Looks like he had some spares earlier, didn't he?
Jake hit 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 and covered his spare in between. Now Connor Collins is on 4 in a row going for his 5th strike right here.
Collins now will go, and he's pretty hot. And He gets a strike as well. We'll take another break here as soon as Mullins is done for Washington Courthouse. That one starts way right, comes back toward the middle. Just kind of shakes his head a little bit. And Mullins, and he'll finish the 5th frame there. So unofficially now it's 476 to 331 favor of Miami Trace. We'll go to the second part of this individual games right after this, as you're watching high school bowling on Facebook, WCHC TV.
When it comes to your health, it's important to know your options for care and make that personal choice. At Courthouse Manor and St. Catherine's Manor of Washington Courthouse, we advocate for our residents and provide quality care according to each individual's needs and goals. From therapy stays to long-term care or assisted living, no matter what stage of life, we are here to provide you with the care you deserve. Courthouse Manor and St. Catherine's Manor of Washington Courthouse, sister facilities with a family feel.
I've taken a lot of shots in my career. At Ohio State, in the WNBA, at the Olympics. But I didn't take those shots just for myself. I took them for my team. When it came to taking the COVID shot, I did it for the same reason, for my family, my friends, and my community. Because we are a team. I took my shot.
All right, back here now as we are in frame number 6 between Miami Trace and Washington Courthouse. Again, this is the second of the individual games. Once this is done, then we will have 3 Baker games. And we've already told you about that. Basically, like, let's say Ferguson for Courthouse leads off. He goes number 1, then they'll go through it. Then he'll come back in 6 frame, and he'll bowl. And add all the scores up, you add it to the individuals, and la-la. Right?
That is correct. That is correct. Now, the coach has the opportunity to sub anybody out, so sometimes you actually have more than 5 people bowl if they sub them out in the second half of the game. That is always a possibility. But, yes, you have it correct.
Yeah, okay. I know your dad gave me a couple extra names, said he may make some substitutions, so give them a little experience, so we'll see how that develops here. Meanwhile, on lane number 10, Caleb Ray. Meanwhile, here in lane number 9, right next to us, is Brendan Major. Good ball there. Jake the man with the ball. We'll have to pick up the spare here. Ask you, I'm noticing that these guys, do you bring like maybe 2 balls each or something like that? Or?
You can drill balls up to do different things on different lane conditions, the way they break down. Some of these young men will probably be carrying 5 to 7 bowling balls to tournaments.
Really?
Yeah. On the college level, I believe Andrew carries probably 12 to 14.
Wow.
The technology that we can do anymore with the bowling and the weight blocks in them is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And in college, the patterns are so much tougher. You have to have certain balls to do certain things.
Wow. Unbelievable. Collins with a good throw there. So Ferguson now will move back over to the left side on your screen. As we'll start now frame number 7. Again, very quick moving. Second individual game here. Brown, meanwhile, will start things off for frame number 7 in lane number 10 for Miami Trace. Ooh, oh, well, I got the one pin to fall at the very last second. Still one left standing, so they'll have to go for a spare. Noah McMurray down the lane 9. Momentary delay here. These guys figuring out their strategy, I guess. McMurray will go ahead and go. Comes the delivery. Trace unofficially ahead, 6:04 to 4:20. And again, I say the score unofficially, again, in case you're just tuning in. The scoring is a little behind what I give you because of strikes, spares, all that stuff has to be figured in there. But it's close enough to kind of give you an idea of the trend of what's going on in the game here. And again, don't forget, both teams still have to roll 3 Baker games to add on to those scores. So even though you may end up winning by 200 or 300 pins in individual games, Ronnie, you can come back and catch them in the Baker.
Absolutely, the Bakers are where you win and lose most of the time, and it's amazing how many points can be made up in the Bakers. And it's even tougher to do that because it's a team event. Everyone's participating, so there's no one superstar that shines. The best that your superstar is going to do is 2 frames, and that's it.
Major again for Miami Trace, lane 10, and he's going to leave a couple pins up on the back right side. Caleb Ray here for Washington Courthouse. He was saying somebody's shirt was a little tight earlier. It was kind of hurting his shoulders a little bit. Well, he must have worked on it because he was warming up. He was saying my shoulder hurts a little bit, and I said, why? And he says, my shirt's a little tight on me. So, but now that you explain they haven't got their shirts yet, that makes sense, you know? So, obviously he's got it worked out because he's had a pretty good two games here so far. Mullins for Courthouse. Right down the middle. And Bevish, so in the front lane 10. Collins down. He comes in with a strike. So we'll get ready to go to the 7th frame. I was getting a little scared there. They were on 6-6-6. I got a little worried there, Ron.
It changed quick.
Yes, okay. Very quickly. I'll say, hurry up, somebody hit one pin, get it off 6-6-6, man. Ferguson with a strike for Courthouse to get things started off in frame number 7. Jalen Brown will get ready to start things off in lane number 9 for Miami Trace. Again, we play 10 frames, individual games. Ditto for the Baker games, but it's a little bit different. The guys will only have to do 2 frames each time. Brown. Down the middle. Left wooden air on the right side. McMurray, lane 10. Oh, he got the last one to fall. Put that one down as a strike. Brown now will come back, try to pick up the spare. As Miami Trace slowly starting to expand that lead here in the second individual game. Meanwhile, we have Nick Walker, lane 10. We're on the right side if you're watching the video. Jacob Goddard in lane 9 on the left side in the black shirt. Trace unofficially now up around 200 pins, starting to really pull away. And again, it's the strikes they keep getting. Starts adding up. Wow, that was a nice spin down that left side of the lane. Goddard, meanwhile, will come back and try to pick up the spare for Trace. I know, Ron, you've coached and stuff like that. After a while, as a coach, you're basically just sitting there being a spectator, aren't you?
Yeah, but there's a lot of things, again, the lane's changing that you can see that sometimes the younger folks can't quite pick up on. So yeah, you're watching, but you're always watching the ball reaction and what needs to happen for the bowler to succeed, though.
Okay. Mullins, meanwhile, will try to Woodhouse. He was his older brother that Owen, right? We were talking about it. They went to the state last year, I believe, and finished 31st. So it's good to see the family tradition continuing.
Yeah, Owen was a good bowler, a real good bowler. Come to the program, I think he lettered all 4 years as a varsity.
Okay. This is Mason here. I believe he's a freshman, if I remember correctly. So we'll have a chance to watch him for the next couple of years. And he gets the spare for Courthouse. Van Beaver with the Trace. Picking up yet another strike. Again, he finished with a 279 in the first individual game. He's talking about his 300. We believe it's Sean Woodyard from Jackson against Chillicothe. We believe he pulled a 299 the other day. Collins will have to come back with a spare now. I'm trying to remember who Jake bowled against. Bowl his 300. Was it against Chillicothe too? It was. So Chillicothe has now had two bowlers, one at a 300 and one 299 against him. Wow. And I'm trying to think. Check the schedule here. There's nothing like coming with half the stuff that you had prepared. So we're kind of trying to the December the 7th, that was at Chillicothe, Jackson. And then Jake's his was on the 2nd against Chillicothe. So within 5 days of each other, of course, his 300 was here at Leella. The 299 was at Chillicothe by the Jackson bowler, so on the road. They had to probably feel snake bitten. They probably didn't want to get another match, would they?
Welcome to the league, Chillicothe.
Yeah. Well, we're already in frame number 9. Again, thanks to all of our corporate partners who are with us helping present this. Again, we bowling today, and again, we'll be doing it the girls division in late January. We got three wrestling matches we're going to be doing. We're going to call it Thursday Night Wrestling because we have 3 straight Thursday nights of wrestling. And no, it's not like Raw or the other one, okay? This is true wrestling. And then about 18 to 20 basketball games this year. In fact, we just did 4 last week. Back to back to back to back. You got to see Trace girls, Courthouse boys, Trace boys, and now boys and girls varsity. Saturday night, December 18th, in case you're watching this video before that date, 5:50 airtime out of Miami Trace High School. Another big battle for Fayette County. That was Noah McMurray. Now Trace, Brennan Major, lane 10. Whoa. Boy, that ball, you could almost tell that was going to be a strike the way it came off his hands. Man, that was so smooth. Meanwhile, Walker. Trying to pick up the spare. Caleb Ray now will come up for Washington Courthouse. Meanwhile, you got Collins, Carson Collins from Trace on the right side. He comes up with a big strike. And that one took off on Caleb a little bit. Couldn't get it to come back toward the Miller. You know, watching these guys, you're hearing this talk. I don't know how much it's getting picked up on the microphone, but when you're bowling like that, you know, we can see the arrows and stuff like that. The average bowler probably knows what they are, but for maybe folks that are not familiar with it, what is about with those arrows that's on the lanes? What's the purpose of those?
Well, the arrows are basically just an alignment device. You know, if you're trying to hit a target, it's easier to hit a target that's 15 feet away than 60 feet away. And the pins are 60 feet away. Once you hit that target, there's nothing you can do to help that ball anyways once it comes off your hand. So the arrows are just an alignment device to help you simplify the game a little bit, I guess.
So Ferguson now, Drew Ferguson from Washington Courthouse, will get ready to start frame number 10, while Mason Mullins will wrap things up for Courthouse here on number 9. Courthouse needs an unbelievable frame to say the least, at least get close, and then hope they can catch Trace and the Bakers, because right now they're about 250 pins behind, and they lost the first one by just a little under 100. So, you know, you don't want to get yourself in too big of a hole. The Bakers, you can maybe help you out, but, you know, you probably want to be, I would say, within 100, 150 pins at least, and then hope somebody gets really hot and you get a lot of strikes. Ferguson, left the one back pin, so he'll have to go for a spare. Jalen Brown will start things off for Miami Trace for their 10th frame. Meanwhile, the girls are just down there just doing their thing, real quiet, just bowl. Have to look every once in a while, make sure they're still here, you know. You get them down here and they know that the camera's on them next time. They'll be very, very noisy, let me tell you. They'll probably pick up here when the Bakers come. Brown in lane number 9. Again, a reminder, we will pick a boys bowler from Courthouse and a bowler from Trace for the McDonald's Star of the Game. They'll be on one of our shows in January. So we'll talk more about that later on. We started that this year, and I think we had about 16 winners during the fall sports season. So we got about 24, 25 events during the winter. Mr. Epifon's got a lot of plaques he's got to buy, I guess. And again, that's not to be confused with the student athlete awards that he gives out every year after each of the sports season. So McMurray, that one pulls off, goes to the left side. Unofficially 9:30 to 7:25. Trace leads in frame number 10. Brown, lane 9. Picks up the spare. Looks like unofficially a 183 for him. Meanwhile, Nick Walker from Courthouse left a couple pins up. Goddard from Trace. Sounded good. Could be because it was good. Walker picking up the spare. This will be Goddard's pass ball he throws in this 10th frame. And now throwing his last ball, the individual game. It's Walker. 3 strikes in a row, by the way, for Goddard. And Pinwell, Walker, I keep saying Pinwell, even though he's got a Pinwell shirt. I know his name is Walker. Walker with a spare and a strike in the 10th frame. Okay, so I guess he gets to go again. Finishes well. $200. To me, I mean, everybody wants to bowl 300, but I think if you can get around 200 or 200 plus, that's pretty good in high school.
You've done well, absolutely. Anything over 200 is pretty daggone good.
Me, I just like to get out of just get to 100. As you can tell, bowling's not my sport. That's why I just announce. Major having a little problem with a little slip, but Courthouse is down to their last two bowlers. Looks like Walker's going to be unofficially around 173. And I believe Ferguson's a 167, but again, we still have Ray and Mullins still have to bowl. Collins for Trace, still with one frame to go. Got him at 207 unofficially. So Goddard got 206 there, didn't he? Is that am I reading that right? 206? Okay.
Mullins has got a 163 right now. I think you looked at the wrong score.
Oh, okay.
Majors had a 216. Nice game.
Jake's been hot. That's at least, what, 4 strikes in a row. That board says 138, but it's going to start flying way up there high in just about a minute or two. See how he, can you get a double turkey?
Yeah, 6 baggers, what they call it, but yeah, and he's already got 90 more pins that's not showing up there right now, plus.
Yeah. Well, there goes another one. So it gives him now 5 in a row. Meanwhile, you have Mullins over for Washington Courthouse. He picked up a turkey. Looks like he's going to end up around, well, he's at least got a 193 right now. Here comes Jake. 6 straight strikes in the second game. And I see the 250 sign up. We'll see what his final number is. As Collins will be going. 258 for Jake. So the Courthouse will finish with a 820. And again, it looks like Mullins with a 193. And he had a 244 in the first set. And looks like Walker got a 173. Collins coming on, trying to finish it up on a good note here. So he's got a turkey. That's 3 strikes in a row. I know you folks are impressed with the way I've come in the terminology. I'm not going to lie to you, the scoreboard's got all the information. I just read the scoreboard, it tells me what to say. There's right down the middle. Yep. And it looks like he's going to end up with a 2. I saw 267 pop up there on the scoreboard for a second. Let's double check. Yep, 267. So 11:30. So Mommy Trace wins the individuals 11:05 and 11:30. Quick match will give you 32:35 for Washington Courthouse. They did 9:41 and 8:20. And a quick math will tell me that that will be 1771. So Miami Trace will be going into the Bakers down by about 400 plus pins. So we'll see how that develops. Let's take a quick break. You're watching High School Bowling on Facebook, WCHC TV.
County Early Learning Center is now enrolling for all 3 programs. Our Head Start program, which is a preschool program for 3 to 5-year-olds. Our Early Head Start home-based program, which is our home-based program that serves pregnant moms and children birth to 3. And then our Early Head Start Child Care Partnership at Rockabye Early Learning Center, which is a center-based program for working parents or parents that are going to school for children birth to 3. For more information, contact Fayette County Early Learning Center at 740-335-7138.
You've got Collins and Mullins, and they're both the anchor bowl class bowler. That's confusing.
Now, your caramel frappe in the morning can earn you a free McChicken in the afternoon. Because every order earns points with new My McDonald's rewards. Download the app today to start earning free McDonald's.
Quarter Pounder operation revolves and relies on one hot and deliciously juicy hunk of quality beef. The hottest, juiciest Quarter Pounder yet, made with 100% fresh beef. It's perfect, made perfecter. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
All right. Miami Trace leads 22:35 to 17:71 unofficially. So I want to correct that. That's what I meant to say, but I think I said it the opposite way. Ronnie says, I think you said they were down. I probably did, knowing me. I mean, you know, it's a Randyism. What can I say? All right, so anyway, here's the thing. All right, now you're at about 400 plus pins. You know you got 3 Bakers coming up. This will go very, very quickly. Everybody only has to bowl now 2 frames. So, if you're Courthouse, what's Bucky's strategy got to be here?
You got to throw strikes. 400 is a lot to come back from it. I mean, yes, that's where you win and lose. But you know, if you beat the other team by 100 pins and the Bakers, and you do it every game, that's only 300 pins. So you've got to go 133 a game. So it's going to be very tough for Bucky's team to come back. Doesn't mean they can't do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they can't do it.
And of course, you know, Ron Sr. basically is just saying, guys, just keep doing what you're doing, right?
Cover your spares and throw strikes, but cover your spares. Yep.
Well, so the strategy is, I don't think they started yet, did they? They have started. 1, 2, 3, trace. All right, so we've started the first Baker. So we'll go see how the girls are doing and give Ron a chance to go take care of some business. Ferguson will bowl the first frame and we'll pick up the spare. Now this will be Jaden Brown. Again, this is the first of 3 games of Bakers, so each bowler will only bowl 2 frames. He gets a strike. Now McMurray. Just to let you know, they are judging the speed of these bowls. David, how fast do you think these bowling balls are going down the lane? How fast do you think these bowling balls are going down the lane? 20? You're close. Around 17 miles per hour. That's fast, let's say the least. This is frame number 2, and whoa, McMurray does not pick up the spare. Okay. Bryce Stuckey is now into the competition. So he will be the third bowler for Miami Trace. Meanwhile, Courthouse stand with Walker. It's the number 3 bowler. Now we have Majors. So we started off with Brown, then Stuckey. Now Major. $39-28. Miami Trace leading in the first Baker match. Led unofficially by about 400 plus frames, 400 some pins, I should say, after the 2 individuals. Ben Bevers down the lane. Shake. Strike. Meanwhile, Ray picks up the split. So we're already in the 5th frame. Again, the Bakers will go pretty quick. Collins. He picks it up. That last one was wobbling a little bit. I don't know if you saw it or not, but didn't know if it was going down or not. Trace staying ahead by about 10 pins. Again, Courthouse has really got to turn it on here, these Bakers. Mullins picks up a big strike there. Back to the top. 6th frame, Brown, his 2nd time around. He picked up a strike the first time. Ferguson now will be up his 6th frame, and he comes up with a strike. 86-68 in favor of Miami Trace. Brown again. Try to pick up the spare after he got 7 pins. Picked it up. Puts Trace over the 100 pin mark here in the Bakers. McMurray comes back and, oh, 2 back pins there. Won't move. Gothard now up. Bowled a 200 in the 2nd individual game today. So he's kind of on a roll himself. They'll try to come back and get the spare, and got it. Nice roll there. Major for Trace. Good spin on the ball.
What do you mean?
Got 9. He needs to pick up that 10th pin in the back right corner. Good roll. But unfortunately, a 9 out of that one. Beavers leaves 2 up. Meanwhile, the Courthouse, Caleb Ray had about 4 pins on the back. They were split, went with the ones on the right. Jake picks up the spare. $163, $162 now. Trace leading as we head into the 10th frame. This thing's starting to get a little bit close. Collins picks up the strike. Mullins, meanwhile, and he gets the strike. Collins now will the second ball here in the 10th frame. Picks up a second strike, so we'll go for the third and the turkey here in frame 10. Mullins. He gets them all. Collins. So let's see what that leaves Miami Trace as far as the first Baker. The 175 flag goes up. We'll get the final team score here. 192. Courthouse. And I believe they're going to get 162. So Trace wins the first Baker. Second Baker coming up right after this here on Facebook, WCHC TV.
Choose your future. Start your future at Great Oaks. Dream bigger. Go places. Great Oaks.
To believe, but colder weather has arrived. Jim Van Dyke's Automotive Center says don't wait any longer to get your vehicle ready for winter driving. Call for an appointment at 740-335-2000 to get your winter weather maintenance work done now, and don't wait until it's too late. Jim, Marlene, and Ray Van Dyke take this time to thank you for trusting them with your vehicle service needs, and their staff will continue to provide professional and courtesy service. Since 2001, Jim Van Dyke is a name that people have come to trust. Again, call 740-335-2000 for an appointment or go online at jimvandyke.com. Jim Van Dyke's Automotive Center, 2247 US 22 Southwest, Washington Courthouse.
While we were away, Collins get a strike, and when they came up the score, David, you're not going to believe this, it ended up in a tie. First Baker ended up in a tie at 192 apiece. So we didn't have all the strikes counted in the final. So 192 apiece in the first Baker. Second Baker is underway. Miami Trace Cole Evans is up. Mullins, I guess, is first up for Courthouse. Switching things up a little bit in this Baker. Again, over at the girls in the first set, Trace had won 746 to 649, but I've not heard a second set yet. Meanwhile, Ray gets a 9. Stuckey's now up. So Bryce with a spare. Ray just missed getting the spare. So game 2 of the Baker. Again, can't get any tighter. 192 apiece in the first Baker set. Right now, unofficially, it's 19-18 Courthouse, but again, it's not with all the pins figured into the scoring, but it is a little close. So we're in frame number 3. Collins going third, I believe, for Trace now in this Baker. Strike. Nick Walker, meanwhile, going for Washington Courthouse here in lane number 9, or to your left. Again, we will be back in mid-January. These two teams are going up against each other. We'll focus and feature the girls division. We'll see how they're doing that time. We'll keep you up to date on the boys' score, but again, coming into today, Hillsborough was 3-0. Courthouse and Trace were 2-1. So looking real quickly at the schedule ahead of us. Chillicothe is going up against Wilmington in a non-conference encounter down at Highland Lanes on Thursday night. Then Saturday, they're playing at Jackson, then Greenfield next Monday. Meanwhile, frame number 6 of the second Baker underway. Got it for Miami Trace. Collins, meanwhile, getting ready for Washington Courthouse. 98-76, Trace lead. Again, the first set tied at 192. Mullins coming up with 3 strikes in the 10th frame to help Courthouse come from behind, but when you're so many pins down, that's not going to help you whatsoever to win the overall match. Goddard missed fixing up the spare. Caleb Ray, a little spin on it. Major now is up, and oh, he left the one back pin up. Looks like the number 7 pin. Ray, meanwhile, doesn't pick up the spare. 126-98, Trace leads. McMurray for Courthouse. had said earlier that the balls were going down the lane at about 16, 17 miles per hour. Still keeping the speed up, almost 16. Could be a little bit tired. What do you think? Throw a lot of balls like these guys have today. McMurray. Trace now slowly pulling away up around 50 pins. Jake Van Beaver. He's got the 3 and the 9 pin still standing. Walker, as they are now moving into the 10th frame. Oh, we only got 1 out of 2. So, Ferguson, who had been leading off all day, now comes back. I believe they got him in the number 5 slot. He is in the 10th frame. Looks like Miami Trace will have a 174 in the second Bakers. I'm not taking a break until we get the 10th frame in. I don't know what happened like the last time. They come back. We thought Trace had won, and Courthouse ended up tying the thing up. So let's wait till they're completely done here. Ferguson. And I believe that should end it. Let's see what the final score is. And it looks like it's going to be waiting.
See, if Drew strikes right now, we win the game.
He's got one more. And Courthouse will end up going with a 157. So Trace wins 174, 157, and the second Baker. We'll come back. Got one. Come back with some more comments right after this. You're watching High School Bowling here on Facebook, WCHC TV.
When the Summers Funeral Home opened to serve this area in 1991, one of their top promises was to each family that they serve to provide thoughtful, caring, and respectful service to those in pain from the loss of a loved one. Terry Summers, his family, and staff continue that promise 30 years later to put your family needs first with the utmost professional care that they can provide. In your time of need, remember the Summers Funeral Home, 223 West Market Street, or call 740-335-6078.
I've taken a lot of shots in my career. At Ohio State, in the WNBA, at the Olympics. But I didn't take those shots just for myself. I took them for my team. When it came to taking the COVID shot, I did it for the same reason, for my family, my friends, and my community. Because we are a team. I took my shot.
Okay, we're back here at High School Bowling, part of our Fayette County Youth Sports coverage on Facebook, WCHC. Randy Young with you. We've got, of course, main man, Dave Woolever on the technical aspects. Ron Amore Jr. joined us when he can with color commentary. Again, the 2 regular season, or should say the 2 individual games. Trace had unofficially 22-35 to 17-71. Now we are in the 3rd game of the Baker. First one was 192-192. Second went to Miami Trace 174-151. So this will be the 3rd and Baker, I would assume. Trace will night now use some of their young men that did not get to see action earlier bowling. Cole Evans, Again, don't forget, we'll do the Epiphone McDonald star of the game. We'll pick a bowler from each of the boys' teams at the end of this broadcast. Evans kind of slipped off his hand a little bit. Courthouse, meanwhile. Mullins will be bowling for the Blue Lions. Ooh, and he left 2 pins on the backside. Jackman Beavers with continued 2 good games today. 279, 258. Collins also had 2 games, 224 and a 267. Jaden Brown with 234 and 183. Meanwhile, Mason Mullins for Washington Courthouse, 244 and 193. I have no clue what these guys are saying. Maybe I don't want to know what they're saying. I don't know. Don't forget basketball action coming up Saturday, December 18th. Trace girls and boys out at Miami Trace. The boys go first, girls go second. Coverage will start at 5:50 on Saturday the 18th in case you're watching this video before that time. Then the following Tuesday and Wednesday, the 21st and 22nd, we have Miami Trace boys and girls games respectively. It's 2 schools from the SVC. The boys will take on St. Trace on Tuesday night, 21st, 22nd. It's Trace girls against Huntington. Then after some time off, we'll come back in January with more action. Brown now for Miami Trace here in lane number 9. Frame number 6 of the 2. Any updates for me, bud?
Okay, the Washington Courthouse girls had a 608 the last game, the second game. They've got a 1257 total, I believe. And the Miami Trace girls had an 864. And I believe they have a 1610 total.
1610?
Yes. Also, on the individuals, Emily, who was leading the team, Emily Gillespie, who was leading the team first game, had a 149 for a 317 total. Honesty Evans, that game, had a 193. And Ashton Ruth had a 208 the second game. So as of right to the individuals, Emily is still leading with a 317.
Good, thank you. So Trace girls are leading by about 300 pins going into the Bakers. So you might want to say that unless miracles happen, it looks like the Panthers will end up sweeping the boys and the girls matchup here. And both will improve themselves in the FAC standings. Meanwhile, we're heading toward the end of this third Baker. Major for Trace. Bowling in the 8th frame. Courthouse already in the 10th frame. Both around the 105 mark. Mullins with those 3 strikes for Courthouse. You were away when the first Baker, we thought Trace had won by some, and then we took a commercial break, come back. Mullins had 3 straight strikes and tied it up at 192. I guess I've learned my lesson not to break until everything's done. I guess it's not impossible to have a tie, right?
No, it's highly unlikely, but definitely not impossible. I see a lot of those.
Doesn't help though. The overall team.
Yeah, and I was standing back here watching the girls score, and I was watching him strike out, and he done a really good job stepping up in that 10th frame and throwing all three of them.
Meanwhile, he will be going here in the 10th frame. Depending on how Trace finishes up, Courthouse might pick up a little bit, but not too much. So they lost the second Baker by about 20-plus frames. Collins for Trace. A little speed on that one. That was about around 17 miles per hour. Courthouse now up 185, 128. Again, all the numbers aren't crunched in there yet, so we'll have a final for you in a minute. Mullins. Oh, left one and up in the back. Collins for Trace. You're right, Mullins and Collins does sound alike. I can see where I messed that up at the start easily.
Very easily. They sound so much alike.
Collins will try to wrap it up here for Trace. Courthouse, looks like they finished with a 204. And Trace going to finish strong, but I don't know if it's going to be enough or not to win 176. But when you put it all together, it's going to be Miami Trace all the way, easily. So we'll have the numbers up here in a minute. Well, I know that you're busy. I'm just going to say our thank yous to you first, and then when we come back, we're going to, Dave and I will pick a star of the game. We'll wrap the broadcast up, but appreciate you letting us that come out, and we're looking forward to come back out in January.
Okay, we look forward to for you in January, and we appreciate you taking your time to do this. It means a lot to the kids and the grandparents that can't get out here to watch.
Thank you. Ron Moore Jr. With us here, helping us out with the broadcast. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll name our star of the game, sponsored by Epithana McDonald's Restaurants, right after these messages.
County Early Learning Center is now enrolling for all three programs. Our Head Start program, which is a preschool program for 3 to 5-year-olds. Our Early Head Start home-based program, which is our home-based program that serves pregnant moms and children birth to 3. And then our Early Head Start Child Care Partnership at Rockabye Early Learning Center, which is a center-based program for working parents or parents that are going to school for children birth to 3. For more information, contact Fayette County Early Learning Center at 740-335-7138.
M&M Fasteners has been supplying quality fasteners across the United States since 1996. M&M supplies our customers with all types of fasteners, from standard nuts and bolts to specials per your prints. M&M Fasteners is a complete fastener importer and distributor that can custom tailor our services to meet your customer needs. Whether it's one part or 1,000 parts to be customized for a special job, M&M can thread, turn, mill, drill, and weld parts to meet your specifications. For details, call us at 740-335-1641 or see us at our website at mmfast.com.
When it comes to your health, it's important to know your options for care and make that personal choice. At Courthouse Manor and St. Catherine's Manor of Washington Courthouse, we advocate for our residents and provide quality care according to each individual's needs and goals. From therapy stays to long-term care or assisted living, no matter what stage of life, we are here to provide you with the care you deserve. Courthouse Manor and St. Catherine's Manor of Washington Courthouse, sister facilities with a family feel.
Gotten the COVID vaccine.
So have I.
I have too.
The sooner we're all vaccinated,
The sooner we can get back to normal.
I'm looking forward to going to live concerts,
sports events,
Graduation.
going out with friends.
It's not about me.
It's not about me.
It's about protecting the people I care about.
to protect my community.
I just want to do my part. Even though I'm young and healthy,
I know it's the right thing to do.
Take your shot.
Protect your family and your friends.
don't hesitate. Vaccinate.
Now time for the Epifano post-game program, featuring coaches' comments and the player of the game announcement. This program is presented by your Epifano McDonald's restaurants, 3 locations in Fayette County and Jamestown.
Okay. Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. All right. We've looked at statistics real quickly. In the individual games, Miami Trace unofficially with 2,235. Washington Courthouse 1,771. Meanwhile, in the Bakers, even though the first one ended up 192 apiece, Trace won the second one 174 to 151. I've got Courthouse winning the third one 204 to 176. So that ends up Courthouse winning by the Bakers by 5 pins at 547 to 542. But again, when you're so far behind after the individual games, even if you win the Bakers, even by a slim margin, it gives you a little bragging rights, but it's not going to cut in the final number because you add them all together. So unofficially, I have Trace winning 2,777 pins, Courthouse 2,318. Stars of the game, I think it's pretty obvious. You take a look at the scores and how things went. Jake Bevers with Miami Trace will be the Miami Trace player of the game. He bowled a series of 279 and 258. And Mason Mullins from Washington Courthouse, he will be picked for the Courthouse player. He had a series of 244 and 193. We'll have those guys on sometime in January on the Saturday McDonald show. We'll interview them and make a presentation to them for winning the awards. Well, David, is there anything else you can think of? Except we'll take a quick break, right? Is that out of the way? All right, so I guess we're done. So we want to thank again Epifano McDonald's for sponsoring the post-game program. Again, thanks to Ron Moore Jr. and all the coaches for helping us out and the kids. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Again, we'll be back around January 19th or 20th in that time frame, and we're going to do the girls and focus on them, and we'll pick a player from each of the teams when we do that broadcast as well. So, for all those I spoke of, for Dave Woolliver, I'm Randy Young. Thanks for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the week. Bye.
Can I get a hamburger? Extra ketchup, but no pickles.
Actually, pickles. 1 vanilla cone and a sweet tea. Hot chocolate.
Your largest coffee.
I'm gonna need like
10 egg McMuffins, please.
1 hamburger Happy Meal.
Make that 2.
Make that 3.
No pickles!
A Sprite and what else? Oh, and one more thing. 10-piece McNuggets, barbecue sauce.
You've been loyal. We want to reward that. Introducing My McDonald's Rewards. Now every order earns points redeemable for free McDonald's.